It's Tuesday, and it's real estate at LicataLive here from the Licata Group office here in beautiful Locust Grove, Virginia.
It's 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock. Hey, David, before we go too far into this, I want to congratulate you. As many of you may not know that David was recognized in Northern Virginia Magazine as one of the top realtors in the DMV and in Northern Virginia, along with Dan Seiler on our team. So we had two of our top agents, all of our agents are top agents, recognized in that magazine. That's pretty cool, David. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, John. And actually, it's more thank you to our wonderful clients that we've been able to work with over the last year. That helped get me there. Me living up in Leesburg, Virginia, I was able to take care of a number of clients that were either moving and buying down here at the lake or in Central Virginia. But certainly it was really nice to be recognized. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, it is all about the clients, David. It's all about the clients.
Absolutely.
Without clients, we're not needed.
Absolutely.
So today, the question that we're hearing a lot is, everybody knows there's a extremely hot market, very hot, and asking about the bubble or comparing it to 2007, 2008. And I'm asked more and more, what are my thoughts on it? What's the difference? How is it going to burst? Is the bubble going to burst? So, David, have you heard anything like that?
I think it's in a lot of people's minds because I guess it might be the age group that we meet with a lot these days that are looking towards maybe retirement and to leaving their home in Northern Virginia or just finding another place. It's their forever home. And those people are of maybe our age group, and they remember all too well what happened in 2005 when the market peaked, and then 2008 when it really crashed. And quite frankly, a number of people we meet today are still, even though they never were underwater on their mortgages and so on, but they're still today looking back and just beginning to see that their home they bought in 2004, 2005 is now just getting back to the levels of that period in today's market. It's interesting.
Well, Dave, before we go too much further, I just want to make sure everyone knows that you're a lot older than I am. So I just wanted to put that out there. Put that out there. But people ask, what the difference is, or is there a challenge, and it is so different than 2005, 6, 7, and 8. And a couple things that I'll mention is back then, inventory was growing, inventory was high, and prices were going up high. Prices and inventory were going up. Today, there's no inventory, and the words that I use are, the difference is inventory, and their lack of. So the lack of inventory is driving this market. There are more folks looking to buy than there is inventory to buy. So over the last 13 or 14 years, typically our nation needs 1,500 new constructions, 1.5 million new constructions a year. So for the last 13, 14 years, 1.5 million new builds. It hasn't happened. In those 13, 14, 15 years, we haven't come close to 1.5 million new builds. Give you a couple examples. In 2020, there was at that time an inventory of about 1.4 million units at any given time. And that was 2020. There are 331 million Americans in looking at that 1.4 million inventory. The average interest rate was right around 3%. In 1973, there were 220 million Americans. The inventory was 1.4 million. So think about how many more million Americans there are looking for the same amount of homes. Last month, I think the inventory was closer to 600,000. So when you think about our area, we are in an advantaged position, very unique to the country. Dave, what are some of the uniquenesses that we have here in the greater Washington area that other parts of the country don't have?
Well, we've got this thing called the federal government, and it seems to be a bellwether for ups and downs in the economy. The bubble that we live in, I wouldn't call it a real estate bubble, but the bubble of what Washington, D.C. and the whole DMV area has with a lot of defense, federal employees, military employees, federal contractors. There's a stability in this marketplace that you really don't see in other parts of the USA. It really is strong for us, and it continues to be. Even with, doesn't matter whether there's a change in government or whatever, it still stays as a very strong market and has weathered some of the ups and downs much better than other parts.
It just doesn't stop. Yeah. The federal government doesn't, as much as they talk about smaller government, whether you're on the left or on your right, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I'm sort of betting that it's not going to stop, David. I don't think it will. And right now, with some of the infrastructure spending, some of the stimulus money that's coming out, a lot of that again is going into things around this area. Whether maybe there may be defense cuts or whatever, but at the same time, there is infrastructure improvements around the Beltway, around Central Virginia, up and down 95, up and down the 81 corridor. There is a lot of building going on, which is going to bring people for work into this part of America. And that, like you say, for as much as they talk about maybe taking agencies out of Washington, D.C. and putting them in other states or whatever, just recently again, they drew back on 3 federal agencies that were scheduled to move. GSA was going to be bidding them out. They just pulled it back and said, nope, we're not going to do that right now. So I don't see that changing just the same as you don't. Dave, what about the data centers? I mean, this is something new that's driving a lot of investment into the region. These data centers. I mean, Loudoun County is the center of the internet universe.
That is a truism, John. It absolutely is. Now, this interesting thing about data centers are they raise a heck of a lot of tax dollars to support the schools, to support the infrastructure, to support all the things that we want in the society where we're living and so on. They don't actually create an awful lot of jobs because they take up a fairly large acreage of space. But they don't take up a lot of jobs. So counties like Loudoun really do benefit from the fact that they get a lot of taxes coming in that they can put towards schools and so on, but they don't actually have to build a lot of schools because there's not that many more families coming in to work in those data centers. So it's an interesting part of what data centers bring to the economy. I think the other thing along with data centers that you see, and you see it even spread out further than just the county of Loudoun, but you see where Amazon and Walmart are building new distribution centers and then setting up fleets of vehicles to do their home delivery services, and those are continuing to pop up all over the country, but certainly all over the DMV.
Dave, I just saw where, speaking of data centers, that data centers investors are now moving into Prince William County, expanding. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, the things that power data centers and the decisions for data centers to pick a home is low cost power, and Virginia has some of the lowest cost electricity in the nation, and then water supply. And I wondered why water supply, but believe it or not, water supply is what's being used to cool all of these computer racks inside of these data centers. And I thought, that seems crazy. Who would use water inside of a computer? I drop my phone in the sink or the wash tub and it's done. But they actually have now developed cooling systems using water to cool these data centers, which obviously generate a heck of a lot of heat. So that water, which Virginia has plenty of, and electricity or power, and the power prices in Virginia are the lowest in the nation.
So more about the market and why we see, and the people that we think a lot of who talk about real estate in terms of the economics behind it. Let's look at what the pandemic has caused that just isn't going to change. It's where people are working now. Where people are working. Why? Of course, we live in Orange County, where we're sitting, we're an hour from Richmond, we're an hour from Charlottesville, we're an hour from Fairfax, we're an hour from Route 66, we're 20 minutes from Route 29, we're 20 minutes from 95. We're in a great location, but our taxes are lower here in Virginia in general, but certainly here in northern central Virginia. And folks could work from home, have a wonderful lifestyle, have lower priced housing, comparatively speaking, and still benefit from the great economic engine that DC brings us.
I think that's a key component of our marketplace right now. I think another key component is that families have learned that in this last year, when they couldn't just jump on a plane to go see a daughter or son and grandkids in Colorado or in California or some other state, they've started to take stock of what has happened and making decisions about the family unit up and down within the generations of the family, and deciding that, I think if my kids are working in the DC area or they're working in the Richmond area, I don't want to go down to Florida and retire down there. I would like to be close to them, because if something like this ever happens again, I don't want to spend a whole year and never see any of my family. So I think you're seeing a change which I believe will be sustained. And it will be that families will not want to be so far flung and far remote from each other going forwards. And that combined just with the whole work from home impact, which everybody's been talking about for the last year anyway, but the combination of that and then also not being so far from family, I think that are big changes that are going to stay in the market going forwards.
So I started out by saying it's inventory, or lack thereof. Yeah. And now it's employment opportunities. And when you think of the remote workplace, I'm also going to talk a little bit about why I think this is a great time to not only be a realtor, but also to own real estate. And so we live in Orange County here, and Orange County has about 37,000 residents. And we're on what's called the Route 3 corridor, where we're sitting right now, which connects 95 and Route 29 major arteries. There are two significant builds that are going on here that will expand inventory for this part of Orange County in the region, and that's the Signature Station development, which is on the books here, which would bring approximately 2,600 residents, 2,600 housing units. 2,600 housing units is typically going to bring 5,000 to 7,000 folks.
Okay.
And then the wilderness, the wilderness crossing is 2,600 units. And then the signature station, which is another 600 units, which, would typically bring in 12 to 1,800 folks. So when you think of that, you see Orange County going from 35 to 37 to as much as 45 to 47. And all that does is increase inventory, which raises the prices of homes in the area, brings wealth to your real estate portfolio and what you own. But that's one aspect. But when you consider that the VA hospital system is building down in Lee's Corner section, southern Fredericksburg, off Route 1, a 450,000 square foot unit, which we already have 2 hospitals in Fredericksburg. That's part of the Mary Washington Hospital System. And in Culpeper, we have the University of Virginia Hospital System. Another giant hospital. What a great place for healthcare professionals and doctors and nurses and all the ancillary businesses that support that. And those people will need to live somewhere.
Yep.
And, we're here in northern central Virginia, we're so advantaged by that. That is going to transform the area. I think of what Martinsburg, West Virginia was off Route 81 before the VA hospital system. That was the largest hospital in the country at one time. We're gonna really benefit from that.
Yeah, and it's not only that. You find with hospitals, and actually this reminds me of with one of the nation's largest employers, Walmart, and they're headquartered in Bentonville, Arkansas. They demand that suppliers come and open up an office, open up a shop nearby. And you see that also with hospitals and with other large employment groups, especially again in DC. The federal government's there, so every single defense contractor has an office there. Lockheed Martin's based in California, but they have a DC presence, big time.
You want to be close to the guys paying your bills.
Exactly. And with the hospitals, there's a whole supply chain of other facilities. Some of them are medical and doctors, some of them are products that are going to be supplied into the hospital system and the medical system, and they will come in as well. So there's a knock-on effect of something like what the VA announced and what they're moving forwards with. I guess they've already broken ground, but they'll be getting really going towards the end of this year on that facility. So yeah, it's going to be going to continue to be a boom time along this Route 3 corridor, and again up and down 95, around Fredericksburg.
The other thing, and this is soft data that I'm sort of just seeing, just being in the business. I'm seeing realtors buying property and investing in Colonial Beach, which is a little bit east of Fredericksburg, and here in Lake of the Woods, where you would think that realtors have a pulse of the market and a pulse of the opportunity, and why are they spending their money? Why are they investing into the area? I think it's just it's sort of telling, if anything. Of course, we live here. I live here. We're in the business. I love it here, but other people are starting to see the value of making that type of investment and that type of commitment.
I often talk, when I'm talking to my buyer clients, about when they're looking at a property to buy, and we start talking about a waterfront, and I always go back to that. Whether it's a lake, a river, or the ocean, there's only so many feet of water, and that is never ever going to change. It can erode a little bit. We may have another ice age one day, but it's not going to change. You can build inland and stuff like that, but waterfront is waterfront, and it's always going to be a strong investment. Whether the market's moving up and down, there's only so much of it there. Don't be too scared about investing and getting into waterfronts.
Well, and just from where we're sitting, and there's a number of water communities,
Yeah.
within 45 minutes of here. But I think of Lake Anna, I think of Lake of the Woods, I think of Fawn Lake. Do you want a country club experience?
Yes.
Well, you have Fawn Lake. Fawn Lake's going to benefit from all this growth for sure.
I would also add in Lake Landor.
Yeah.
We recently did a couple of property listings and sales in Lake Landor. Very quick and easy access off of 95 on the south side of Fredericksburg. And then even Lake Monticello. I've been down there a few times recently.
And Louisa County, not too far from Charlottesville.
Exactly. So those are all great water areas. And I would add to the value that's coming into those markets, which the infrastructure spending on the internet and on being able to have high-speed data. We talked about data centers. It all ties together. If you've got high-speed data and you've got it right here within the Lake of the Woods community, you've got it in Lake Landor, you've got it in Fawn Lake, you don't have it everywhere. Lake Anna is the classic place where some parts of the lake you've got it, and other parts you're putting a wire up in the air trying to get a signal. But that's all going to change, and as it changes, values are going to continue to rise.
Well, you hear a lot about it, even at the federal level. You hear about broadband growing into the remote areas. I know that we have broadband here in Orange County that's growing out this way. But if you're a young up-and-coming professional, 2-income family, or a young family getting started, and you're working remotely and you're Zooming and you need that broadband, you need that connection.
Yeah.
And right today, there are only a few places where you can get that. Tomorrow, that's going to change, though. Within 8 to 10 months, I know just here in our area, that'll change in a big way. But it's top of mind for anyone moving into the area.
Yeah, you might see me out there. I'm driving around sometimes, and if I come across a Verizon Fios or a Comcast Xfinity truck, you might see me all of a sudden do a U-turn and start following the truck. Wherever he's going and wherever he's laying pipe, I want to know what's happening in that community, because it's going to be an up and coming market in real estate.
Who would have guessed we'd be talking about this stuff?
It's crazy, but at the same time, it's the fact. I mean, it's top of mind with a home working or a home education situation. You just can't deal with a satellite, internet connection with slow down speeds. You can't have your Zoom meetings. You things keep breaking up. You can't have that. So it really is check all the boxes, and almost at the top, if not very much the top, is high-speed internet. Does the community have high-speed internet?
Dave, when I first purchased a home down here in Central Virginia, I call it the Piedmont region of Central Virginia, the largest demographic was 65 and above. You had a lot of retirees that were attracted to the area. Yet today, the biggest demographic is 35 to 55. It's changing. Great place to live, great place to work, just a great environment to live, work, have a family, to feel comfortable, safe, and to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Get out of that rat race out in Loudoun County. Get out of that rat race around the Beltway.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true.
Your blood pressure will go down.
You come to this part of the country, and it's just like, whoa, it's just a relaxed area. Now, I would say we here at the Licata Group, we don't relax too much. You gotta get after it. We're accountable to each other, and accountability is really important in our business, because we have to be there for our clients. It's a 24/7 process, and especially right now when houses pop on the market and they're gone within a few hours, if not a day at the most. So we are on it full time. All of us here at the team are full-time realtors, and there's no time to relax when we're working with our clients.
You absolutely call us or email us, engage with us. we'd love to have an opportunity to help you, whether you're buying and selling. But hey, I do want to mention and sort of close with this. So this is a time of year where things naturally slow down for a little bit. Yeah. It does slow down for a little bit. Why is that, Dave?
Well, in a normal year, it would be, this is graduation time for the kids. There's graduation parties. There's planning for new schools and those sorts of things. And we have a Memorial Weekend coming up, which is always a nice weekend to enjoy. This year, after lockdown, it's even more slowing down in terms of, do I really want to go look at a house and buy a house this weekend? Or it's just so good to be able to get out and travel, to go someplace else, to have a party, plan a party at my own house in my backyard or whatever. All of those things are coming together. And so we felt it in just the last week or so. But probably after Memorial Day and as some more normality comes into our lives, we'll start to see it pick up as it normally does.
Hey, some more soft data on how things our people are coming out. The last 2 weeks, I've tried to get a restaurant reservation downtown in Fredericksburg at Sedona and at Renato, nice Italian, right across from each other. So I was calling on Saturday midday. Not even close. Well, we can't help you at all. So I figured, let me call on Friday. I can't even get a reservation for Saturday if I call early on Friday. It's just, again, that's soft. I mean, I've been going out towards Culpeper a little bit and having a little bit of luck. But even Wilderness Run Vineyards, we have 2 vineyards real close here. We have Old House Vineyards, which, again, if you close your eyes, you think and open your eyes, you think you're in Northern California. And then we have the Wilderness Run Vineyard here. People are paining to get out. They're crawling with people. People are feeling good about getting out and taking advantage of the great weather and the fact that more people are vaccinated and less mindful of where we were just a year ago.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because even here within the community at Lake of the Woods, we're getting back to some normality. I think this weekend there's a concert coming up.
Yeah, Friday.
There'll be movie night again. We'll be showing up. I guess unfortunately the fireworks this year have been postponed.
They're postponed to later in the fall.
But all this stuff is great. So we really hope to get to meet a lot of our folks, our clients and friends around the communities that we haven't actually seen too much of in the last year. We really look forward to that as we go forward. I think that's a good way to finish things up.
Well, we're finished up. Hopefully this has been worthwhile for anybody listening in and who listens to our little podcast
weekly chat
on Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you.